Well, those are the headlines we are tracking for you this evening. Synthetic speech technology startup Murf AI has raised $10 million in its Series A funding, and the round was led by Matrix Partners India with participation from existing investor Elevation Capital as well as prominent angel investors. The venture plans to use these funds to drive further product innovation, accelerate R&D, and scale its presence in focused geographies. To tell us how Murf AI is transforming the way voiceovers are created, joining me now is Ankur Edkie, the co-founder and CEO of Murf AI. Ankur, welcome to Startup Street. And before we get to the fundraise, let's talk about Murf AI and synthetic speech technology. What is the pain point that you're solving and for whom, and who is the target audience?
First of all, thanks for having me on the show. As you rightly said, synthetic technology has seen recent advances, which has made it viable to use this technology in several use cases. To your question on who is actually using it and how, it's all kinds of content creators because of the realism that we've been able to bring into this technology. It could be used by YouTubers. You have customers right from individual content creators to SMBs to enterprises trying to use this for corporate L&D, as well as advertising is another space that you've seen our customers use this technology in.
Okay. Now, Murf provides an AI-enabled SaaS tool that basically allows users to generate human-like voiceovers for videos and for presentations without the need for complex recording equipment or even hiring a voice artist. Tell me how it all works. You spoke about bringing in realism. Take me through your technology. What is Murf's USP?
Sure.
Ankur, did you hear my question? Should I just repeat? Ankur, can you hear me? All right, I think we've lost Ankur there. We're trying to get back to him. Ankur, can you hear me now? Ankur?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Ankur, we can hear you loud and clear. Yes. I'll just repeat my question once again. Now, Murf provides, like we were discussing, an AI-enabled SaaS tool that allows users to generate human-like voiceovers for videos and presentations without the need for complex recording equipment or hiring a voice artist. If you could tell me how it all works, you spoke about bringing in realism. Take me through your technology and what is Murf's USP?
Yeah. So we work with voice actors. We get their recordings, we get them scripts which are relevant to the specific emotion that we are trying to get out of the clone that we create. We have our own proprietary AI models, which we train using the data that we retrieve from these voice actors. And once that training is complete, it's available in the studio that we've built for our users to just put in text and be able to use any of the emotions and styles that we've produced from these clones. And the great thing about why voice actors are excited about this is that they get a share of revenue every time their clone gets used by any of our users.
Okay, and what are the additional offerings? If you can talk to us about the features that Murf provides.
Sure. So we go beyond speech synthesis. So we have endeavored to actually enable voiceovers and simplifying the entire activity of voiceovers. So that also involves being able to apply it on the content that you're trying to create this voiceover for. So if you have, for example, your use case is trying to create a product explainer video, you could actually bring in your video and Murf would solve the problem of aligning the synthesis that's been done with the visuals that you have uploaded as well. So you get the end-to-end creation of the final output from Murf itself. So we do background music creation as well as being able to basically render videos for you, all of that, apart from being able to align the synthesis that you've done just from text.
All right. Ankur, tell me, let's just talk about the Series A fundraise. I believe the funding would further help you simplify and scale voiceovers. Now, if you can elaborate on this, how you plan to do this, and any new offerings in the pipeline.
Yeah, definitely. So this is still a research area. We are certainly a deep tech company. A large part of our fundraise is going to be dedicated towards advancing the space. The other part where we're going to spend a lot is actually expanding our portfolio of voices that we've brought out there. We already sell in about 100 countries. but we want to build more depth into the accents, emotions, and styles that are going to be put out there in the studio, so it can cater to more use cases as we improve upon the realism that we were able to bring in.
Okay. You have plans to scale globally as well. In fact, 80% of your customers come from the US, Canada, and EU regions. What markets are you eyeing next, or are you planning to go deeper there? If you could take me through your expansion plans and, of course, your growth targets.
Sure. We're certainly planning to go deeper into the US, UK market, which are primary for us already. As we go deeper in our tech stack, we will basically target harder use cases. We also are expanding in other English-speaking geographies. Australia, Singapore are some of those as well. Yeah, in terms of growth rate, so far we've from our seed funding stage to now, we've grown about 22x in our revenues, and we certainly want to hit a similar growth rate in the coming year.
Okay. The big idea is to place a simple online voice studio in the hands of every content creator. That's the big idea that you have. But there clearly seems to be immense potential as well. According to market reports, the global text-to-speech market is expected to reach $7.06 billion by 2028. And in addition, the voiceover and the dubbing market is predicted to generate a total of $8 billion annually by 2027. How do you plan to harness this opportunity? Also tell me, how soon do you think you'll reach break even? What is the road to profitability looking like?
Yeah, sure. So the market certainly has huge potential. Text-to-speech is a fairly established market. The audience knows what to expect. The voiceover market is where we are most excited about, where traditionally people have been going to voiceover actors, getting the recordings done, which is a cumbersome activity. It could take weeks to get it done. With a real human trying to be in the loop. With our tech, you could do it in a couple of minutes to hours, depending on your use case. As we expand into this harder market of being able to basically augment the voiceover space, apart from the text-to-speech market itself, in the coming years, you'll see more and more use cases being synthetic in nature and being harder to actually recognize the difference from reality.
All right, and we wish you the very best for that. Ankur, we've completely run out of time, but many thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, moving on. The festive season is almost upon us, and online sales are all set to start from the 23rd of September. What are companies expecting from this festive season, and what is consumer sentiment looking like? Shilpa Ranipeta joins us with a lowdown. Shilpa, over to you.
Well, it's time to get your wallets and credit cards out. India is gearing up for its biggest e-commerce sales of the year from the 23rd of September. And the face of this time is not just between Flipkart and Amazon. Meesho too is in the fray. Now let's take a look at what all is on offer. Now Flipkart's Big Billion Days will go on till September 30th, where over 1 million sellers are participating, and consumers will see about 130 special launches from over 90 brands, and this is across categories. In fact, Flipkart will also allow consumers to pre-book orders with just ₹1 as an advance. Then there's Amazon, which is hosting its Great Indian Festival, but hasn't revealed the end date yet. It starts on the 23rd. Here too, over 1 million sellers are participating, and there are over 2,000 launches across smartphones, appliances, fashion, beauty, and grocery. Live commerce is also the new trend in the game, with over 150 influencers that will be wooing consumers to buy the goods. And if you're looking for fashion, Myntra's Big Fashion Festival will go on till the 2nd of October, where it's hoping to draw 6 million unique customers. And here too, over 2,000 creators will be participating in live commerce. But the new kid on the block this festive season is Meesho, which is hosting its mega blockbuster sale from 23rd to 27th of September. Now, Meesho is looking to win in the rural markets, from where it expects over 80% of its orders to come. Now, why are these sales a big deal? Apart from the fact that we'll all be hooked onto the app looking for that great iPhone or smartphone deal, Redseer expects online sales to reach $11.8 billion this year, which is up 28% over last year and 3 times of the pre-pandemic sales of 2018. It also expects the overall retail gross merchandise value to grow 30% to $68 billion this year. However, Tier 2, 3 and 4 towns will dominate these sales, and so the spend per online shopper could drop. But that's because these markets usually shop for lower priced items. So the consumer sentiment, however, is quite upbeat. And despite inflationary concerns, according to a survey by Zest Money, where 67% respondents, they plan to spend more or equal to what they spent last year, and 50% of them plan to spend anywhere between 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees during this festive season. And what will they buy? Well, as always, electronics and smartphones will lead the pack, followed by fashion, home decor, jewelry. And this time for early access for Prime and Plus members begins 1 day early. And after 2 years of rather subdued sales amidst the pandemic, sellers too are really counting on this festive season to bring back the cheer.
Well, thank you, Shilpa, for those details. Appreciate you joining us on the show. With that, it's time for us to head into a short break. Coming up, we bring you a special Young Turks segment where Shereen Bhan caught up with one of the global changemakers, Radhika Batra. We'll tell you how she's changing the world. On the other side, stay tuned. As a part of its annual Goalkeepers campaign, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has announced the winners of its Goalkeepers Global Goals Awards. The foundation essentially recognizes the work of 4 remarkable change makers who help achieve sustainable development goals within their communities and around the world. Of the 4 winners announced is Radhika Batra, who is the co-founder of the non-profit organization Every Infant Matters. The company provides last-mile health solutions to the disadvantaged children in India. On the sidelines of this event, CNBC TV 18's Shereen Bhan caught up with Radhika Batra to talk to her about her journey thus far and how she is helping change the world. Listen in.
My name is Vanessa Nakate, and I am a goalkeeper. I describe myself as a climate activist, a fighter for the protection of the planet and the people. I founded the Rise Up Climate Movement, which aims to amplify the voices of activists across Africa. Since then, I have spoken around the world on climate justice. We need every story, we need every resource, we need every voice.
Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Young Turks. I'm Shereen Bhan, and joining me today is one of the recipients of the Goalkeeper Awards, Dr. Radhika Batra. Dr. Radhika Batra, thank you very much for joining us and congratulations. You know, this is not your first award or the first big recognition for you, but take me through how you feel today for the work that you've been able to do in that being recognized on a global platform like this.
I think it's an incredible honor. And I feel excited but nervous, and I also feel very like we're very cognizant of the fact that the Gates Foundation has put in a tremendous amount of trust in us, and we hope to do a lot more work in the future for the betterment of the country and the other countries that we work in.
And that's what I want to talk to you about, Radhika. Yeah. I was watching your TED Talk where you talk about how getting into healthcare was a very personal decision for you. It's been a very personal story, a personal journey for you. And then the decision to actually try and do something about making healthcare more accessible, more affordable. Explain to me, from the point where you started to where you are today, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
I think the first biggest challenge was actually starting out. Like, it's very difficult to pick a point to start. It's very difficult to pick a cause to start. And because I was working in pediatrics, I saw a lot of children become blind because of not getting good food because they were malnourished. And that was something which I picked, and I took it from there and let it take a ripple effect. So that was one of the bigger challenges of starting out. And since then, I think every day is a challenge. You know, being a woman in the Indian society, it's not well accepted if you're doing something a little out of the box. So it gets challenging to face questions of the family, of extended members of the community, of why.
What are the questions? I would imagine that they'd be very happy to hear what you're doing.
No. So a lot of them are all about, you know, you need to get married, you need to have kids, start a family. Why not do that?
Are you feeling like a ticking time bomb?
So that's the whole thing. I don't, and that's a problem to them. That why doesn't she feel the ticking of the clock, and why doesn't she focus on her family instead of going heads-on into something so challenging?
I think this is probably going to change that, and you won't have to answer as many questions as you have been. But you know, since you're talking about pediatric care specifically, and this is a challenge. It's a global challenge. It's not just an Indian challenge. But in terms of being able to mobilize support, in terms of being able to get organizations to support what you are doing, how have you tried to build the ecosystem out around you?
I think, you know, the work and the kind of impact that we have, you know, it speaks for itself. So it's been relatively easy to find support, to find the right stakeholders to take the lead, and then, you know, scale up from that one hospital in Ghaziabad to in the 5 countries that we are in today. So I think it's all about starting out and wanting to make a difference, getting up in the morning and really feeling that heat of, you know, this is what has to change in the world, in the country, and then taking it from there. And then the support sort of, that energy sort of, you know, drives support, and it garners a lot of positive energy with it. So it just, I think it's attractive. So.
You know, you're talking about being able to build scale. It's hard enough to build scale in one country. You've decided to sort of travel outside and take this across different borders and different boundaries. What's that experience been like? And how much of the healthcare challenge or the broken healthcare system is similar to what we experience in India?
So, you know, Shereen, my nani always has taught me, it's from the Maha Upanishads. There's a Sanskrit shlok which says Vasudev Kutumbakam, which translates into the world as one family. And I think that was something which has really stayed with me. And what happens is that when you look at the healthcare structure of India, of Nigeria, of Kenya, the problems are not different. The problems are not different. Their solutions are not different. They just have to be adapted into a more socio-culturally acceptable form and applied to those communities as well. So it's, you know, we can't sit in India and feel like another country is not our problem. We can't sit in Delhi and feel like the Northeast is not our problem. The world is one family, and ultimately, whatever problems are there, they will reach us one day or the other. And this is what history has taught us, and that is what we have applied as our, you know, driving model, that we try to replicate our model in as many countries who need the help, who have children who are malnourished, and we try to help them as much as possible.
Yeah, and we are interconnected, aren't we? And we are seeing the good and the bad of being interconnected. But you know, you spoke about the model, so I want to understand from you. Break down the model for me, what you've been able to do, how you've been able to do it.
So like I said, we started in a small place in Ghaziabad with just me, my 3-4 colleagues, and they were the first volunteers that I had. It was a one-woman army that time. And we started giving vitamin A to all the malnourished children that we came across. Slowly, we expanded to other parts of the country, other neighboring cities, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, wherever we could find support and partners and doctors or grassroots NGOs or religious groups like the Gurudwara clinics or the church groups who were willing to help us, who were serving the poorest of the poor. So we scaled up like that. And we were able to reach a lot of children because every geographical area or every, you know, place that, suppose I talk about the Northeast, you know, their healthcare is provided by nuns. You know, there is a missionary group which provides healthcare. They do deliveries, they do everything. They take care of all the children. So they needed the guidance, they needed the medicine, and we provided it to them. And that's how we were able to cover the whole of the Northeast area, Assam, Mizoram, Manipur, all 3 states. And we try to just, you know, find the right people who want to make a difference, who are already in the healthcare space in some capacity or the other, and we help them strengthen their health system and send them the medicines as well.
So how do you ensure that this is going to be sustainable? How do you ensure that you know, you are going to be self-sufficient and self-reliant and be able to scale this further?
So, like I said, the impact of the work is such that, you know, people do give us support, touch wood for that. And we have been able to get a lot of donations in kind. As such, we don't get too much of actual funding coming in, but all the medicines, they come from the United States, from an organization called Vitamin Angels. And we get a lot of other support in the form of medicines or ration kits. Now in COVID, we did all kinds of things, concentrators. We set up COVID centers in the Northeast where there was no hospital for 100 miles. And we got a lot of donations in PPE, all kinds of stuff. So when people understand that, you know, being in the healthcare space, we understand the nuances of it. And we understand the pitfalls, we understand the lacunae. So we want to fulfill those lacunae as much as possible.
Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Young Turks, and we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Well, that is Dr. Radhika Batra, the recipient of the Goalkeepers Award by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We will take a break and be right back with you with a lot more.